Now, if I don't get elected, it's going to be a bloodbath for the whole. That's going to be the least of it. It's going to be a bloodbath for the country. That'll be the least of it.
All right, so it falls under two categories, okay? It's like my daughter tells me if I don't take her to Sephora, she's going to stop speaking to me. And maybe she will, but she'll speak to me again. Sometimes, though, she gets more and more stubborn. And this impasse lasts longer and longer and longer. She means it, apparently. I am the worst mother in the world, okay? That's how some are framing this latest call for a bloodbath, if you want to say that it's a call. Trump facing more backlash after he said there will be a bloodbath for the country if he doesn't win the 2024 election. I wonder if Putin fed him that line. He brought this up while railing against electric vehicles. Here's what a spokesperson said. Biden's policies will create an economic bloodbath for the auto industry and auto workers. All right, really? That's what you want us to believe? Media with the comments there. The spokesperson, Caroline Levitt. Here's the full context. Look at that.
China now is building a couple of massive plants where they're going to build the cars in Mexico and they think that they're going to sell those cars into the United States with no tax at the border. Let me tell you something to China. If you're listening, President Xi, and you and I are friends, but he understands the way I deal, those big monster car manufacturing plants that you're building in Mexico right now, and you think you're going to get that, you're going to not hire Americans, and you're going to sell the cars to us. No, we're going to put a 100% tariff on every single car that comes across the line, and you're not going to be able to sell those cars. If I get elected, now if I don't get elected, it's going to be a bloodbath for the whole. That's going to be the least of it. It's going to be a bloodbath for the country. That'll be the least of it.
All right, so this time he wasn't necessarily calling for people with bear spray and animal skins to storm the Capitol, put up a noose for the vice president and defecate and rummage again through Nancy Pelosi's mail. Instead, and we'll put up the tweet on X, fake news media and their Democratic partners in the destruction of our nation pretend to be shocked at my use of the word bloodbath, even though they fully understood that I was simply referring to imports allowed by crooked Joe Biden, which are killing the automobile industry. United Auto Workers, but not their leadership, fully understand what I mean. The electric car mandate being pushed by Biden. There soon won't be any cars made in the USA unless I'm elected president, in which case auto manufacturing will thrive like never before. And then he hits you with the updated MAGA hashtag. So he was only talking about cars this time. Doesn't want the actual bloodbath. But he is, Jackson, the last person, right, who should use the word bloodbath?
Well, at this point, I don't even know why Trump bothers defending himself from stuff like this. You know what I mean? Because it's like, if that's what you meant, then just stand on it. But he just responds to criticism no matter what it is. Like for instance, like when he was criticizing Nikki Haley and talking about how far behind she was to him and just things. It's just like, bro, you don't need to do that after she won DC. Like, not even from a decorum perspective, but just more like, bro, you're 50 points ahead. You don't need to say this about it. And two, I mean, this is the guy who calls for a Muslim ban. If he's elected again, he's gonna put it back intact. The guy who came down the escalator saying that Mexico's sending over their worst. January 6th, which happened, and then him, basically saying that it was called for and it was just fine. So this is just par for the course for Donald Trump. So I don't even know why he responded to it.
Yeah. He's said and done a lot, calling them hostages, those prosecuted for January 6th, the stupid choir, choir of felons singing.
He always bragging about like we got number one on the charts.
Right. I mean, you know what? This guy. But I want to put up this image because I'm going to tell you something. He did say there, the media being shocked and you mentioned it too. I don't know why anyone's shocked by what he'll do next. Again, this time bloodbath in his view was about the auto industry, but when you look at this and the headlines, these are the people that cover Trump's administration on a daily basis. They've covered him, the campaign, the trials, the 91 indictments. Well, do the math. I believe some were dismissed in Georgia, but it's just technicality. Okay. Now that they're out of DA Fonnie Willis's underpants, that will continue. That part of the case is over, that distraction. So it's going to continue. But this whole notion, Jackson, that the media is so stunned whenever he says something, and really, I think a lot of times he does it to command attention. What say you?
Yeah, he's very good at drawing attention. And, I think that at this point, he's beyond tested the waters. He knows that there aren't any real consequences for him, especially within his base, but among the wider Republican apparatus in general. So, yeah, I mean, he plays the media like a fiddle all the time, and he knows it. And, I guess the media wouldn't be able to just maybe promote some of what the Biden administration has done, because clearly these outlets don't want Donald Trump to win. They're pushing forth sensationalism, but they could basically, what I'm getting at is they could promote other things.
Yeah.
They could talk about Trump's policies. They could talk about Biden's policies. They could talk about what both campaigns need to do to win. Talk strategy. But it's just a big show. So, yeah, absolutely. Donald Trump has always taken advantage. And that's why he's always responded.